company, garbage collection, nice company. Was the owner. We don't have all the statistics or the facts on it yet, but he was 50 years old, had a new employee, young employee behind the wheel of this garbage truck, and I don't know how many ton they weigh, but there had been a lot of rain, and as we understand it, the driver lost control, went in the ditch. The brother-in-law did not have his seatbelt on, was ejected from the truck, and of course we're thinking that 20-ton truck probably landed on him. But again, seat belts, common everyday thing, and they can upset your life if you don't follow it. So just a sideline, this safety, we do this for a reason. It's to keep you safe. So if you don't use it, not only you get hurt, but all the people you work with, your family, and everybody else suffers your consequences of making a bad choice. So.
May I interject here a little bit? Another reason why we're having the this ladders and bucket truck and whatnot safety training is that unfortunately there were some individuals in the company who have recently been written up because they were being unsafe in a situation where they were elevated off the ground. So as we were talking with them, they said, well, again, like typically, as Paul was just mentioning, they were trying to be quicker. They were trying to, they had a lot of different excuses, if you will, of why they did that. They said, you know what, we just don't do some of this safety training for a while, and so it's better to have it and have it often, so we remember it. It's in the front of our mind when we go out there and perform our work.
Do you know, are they tuned in for the meeting?
They will have this meeting for sure.
Oh, okay.
What was the question? Well,
the employees who are in trouble, are they here, or are they getting the training? Yeah.
Tuned in.
Do we have, or is Big Scan Ennis dialed in?
Not now. No. Well, I'll talk to you, yeah.
so did we lose our?
Nope, here we go.
Okay, Ron.
All right. Anyway, we're going to go through a couple of PowerPoints. I've got a couple of videos, but workplace statistics. I don't know if you can see it back there. We got it.
They got them under in the back.
Okay, we're looking at the age groups and the type of injury and the numbers there. So car, van, pickup accidents, number 5, if you look down there, that's the largest, 502. So you're more likely to be injured on the job in a vehicle. And there's environmental causes. There were 32 deaths. If you look at the age groups for these, look at car, van, pickup accidents. At 15 to 49, I guess that's pretty much the average age probably of our workers in the workforce. Some of us extend beyond that, but it just gives you a breakout of some of the injury deaths. The hazards of stairs, again, is just cluttered. Make sure you can see other materials you can't carry on a stairway. You're carrying on a stairway, and slippery surfaces, damage, report unsafe conditions. Hazards of stairs, poor lighting, unsafe work practices, ice. Ice in our area is a big one. Precautions for safe ladder use. Keep areas around the top and bottom of the ladder clear. Open step ladders fully and lock the spreaders. Set up a straight ladder using the 4-to-1 rule. Everybody recall what the 4-to-1 rule is? You can either do it with, for every 4 feet up, you figure 1 foot out, or you can do the fireman stance. Everybody remember how we do that? Stand with your feet, your toes firm at the base of the ladder, put your arms out at a 90-degree, and grab the side rails or grab the rungs. If you've got a 90-degree here and your feet are at the base of your ladder and a 90-degree here going straight out, I don't care if your ladder is going to go up 4 feet, if it's going to go up 14 feet, or if it's going to go up 40 feet. As long as you maintain that 90-degree here, your ladder is always going to be at the safe distance. So easy way for a proper ladder setup. Keep areas around the top and bottom of the ladder clear. Anybody here do any archery hunting, any deer hunting? Anybody here ever do a tree stand? I'll share a personal experience. Homebrewed tree stands, wonderful, worked great. Got up into the, to hang the stand itself, got it plugged in, got it strapped around the back, got up onto the tree stand to put my seat around, and the bracket that was going into the tree snapped. It came down, and I went straight back from about 15 feet, landed on my back, and I look around, and you know, there were all of these little saplings about, oh, I don't know, 6-8 inches tall that had been cut, and I fell in between them. I didn't land on one of them. They would have skewered me like a pig in no time. So another person climbing a pole, picket fence along the pole. Which side do you climb on? You don't climb on the side where if you fall it's going to be the picket fence. That wasn't me, by the way, but
Just, I know we're talking about ladders, but it reminded me that, again, I think most of the people here know Brian Hagee, who was in a bucket truck and fell from about 40 feet and actually had to be revived because he was dead, and had the surgeries and a long time in the hospital. So, you know, the potential for damage, even off of the ladder, is actually pretty common and can be pretty severe.
yes, yeah, it's dangerous stuff. Face ladders when ascending or descending, use both hands to grip the side rails whenever possible, and only one person on the ladder at a time. Don't stand on the top 2 steps of a step ladder, and never move a portable ladder with somebody on it. Well, yeah, that goes without saying. You put me on a ladder, I don't think well, I guess there's a few of you here that could move me, but hoist material up to you when you reach the top of the ladder and work within the side rails. What are they meaning there? Work within the side rails. How far do you reach out? How far can you safely reach out when you're working on a step ladder? What's a rule? What's a common? Anybody know?
Arm's length?
Arm's length? I'm hearing something, but I can't. Your breastbone. Your breastbone should never go beyond the side rails of your ladder. Or if you're wearing a belt, your belt buckle should never go outside the side rails. If you stay within that confined area, you're going to be safe. Once you start leaning out and getting your breastbone beyond one of the side rails, you're no longer balanced, and bad things happen when that occurs. So, store ladders in designated areas. How you store ladders is one of the most common causes of defects for a ladder. Do you know that? We put, especially our extendable ladders, mount them on the truck, right? You got brackets on your truck. Truck goes down the road and it vibrates and it bounces, right? What does it do to the side rails if they're not protected? All of a sudden you've got your fiberglass starting to wear and so forth. So have a means of protecting that when it's strapped into the truck. Otherwise you're going to be spending money on ladders that you would not need to do. So how we store them is very important. Eliminate slippery conditions. Again, in our area we can run into that placing ladders on ice. Clean up spills, keep free of ice and snow, and ensure proper lighting in the stair areas. Use the handrails. Always walk up and down the stairs, don't run. At my age, there's no worry of that. Common causes of ladder accidents: overreaching on ladders, what we just talked about. Failure to secure a ladder. Climbing one-handed. In other words, carrying something in one hand and going up. Using worn or damaged ladders, leaving tools on ladders, or standing on the top rung or platform. Failure to secure ladders. One employee, I did a safety, there was an accident, went and visited with him. had fallen off an extension ladder mid-span and had the ladder secured to the span, but he managed to fall off the ladder. He said he was strapping in when it happened and he fell. Well, a year or two later, as I was visiting with him in a treatment center for drugs and alcohol, he explained to me, yeah, he got up there, he secured the ladder, he smoked a doobie or a joint before he went up, and he said, I strapped the ladder in, and then he said, I went to lean back into my belt, except he forgot to strap it on. You know, we laugh about this, but it wasn't very funny, you know, when we had this accident, this guy got hurt, but you know, he came clean and he was honest with me. He said he went to lean back into his belt and he forgot he hadn't strapped in. Proper ladder, place ladder on solid dry flat surface, level with ladder legs or stable platform, level with ladder legs or stable platform. Use slip resistant shoes on the ladder. If accessing a roof, ladder must extend at least 4 rungs above the surface. And that's something that I see most commonly, is that people do not extend their ladder far enough when they're ascending to a roof line. You might see 1 or 2 rungs, but to get it up there. The other thing it does, when you step off the ladder to the roof line, you've got something there to help you. Otherwise we get up there and we just kind of take a step without anything to balance. So make sure you get that ladder up there. Improper placement of the ladder causes injuries. Tie the top and bottom of the ladder to a secure location. One individual tied his ladder, he threw a rope up over the top of the house, tied it onto the bumper of the vehicle on the other side. Yeah, you can guess what happened. The person jumped into the vehicle and took off. Over the roof went the ladder. Another person forgot they had a ladder tied onto the back of their truck and took off to go to coffee. But you gotta say, at least they tied it off. Have a person hold the ladder if you cannot secure it with ropes or straps. Here again, you know, each situation may call for something different. You gotta think when you're out there. You know, you're all smart, intelligent people. Your safety, what are you gonna do to make sure that when you ascend or use that ladder or descend that ladder if you're going into a trench or something, what do I need to do to keep me safe, both going down and coming up again? So, 3 steps to safely set up your ladder. Lay the ladder on the ground. Lift end away from the wall over your head. In other words, walk it up to the wall. Pull the base out with 4 feet to 1 rule. Again, 4 to 1. For every 4 feet you go up, your bottom of your ladder comes out 1, or the fireman's stance. Facing the ladder, grabbing the rungs, keeping your belt there tells you belt buckle inside the rails, not carrying heavy or bulky loads, draping your arms around the rungs. If sick, dizzy, or panicky, the company I used to work for had about a 40-foot pole alongside a building that they used for a cable entrance. Also on this pole, and it was a stepped pole, which you don't see many of those anymore, but the DNR had an antenna up on this stepped pole, and they came to do some work on their antenna. There were 3 guys, and the one guy climbed very seldom, so the other 2 said, you know, this is yours, you're going to climb this. And the guy said, I don't like to climb. I just, and this was just a few years ago, and didn't want to climb it, and the other 2 said, you're going to climb it because we've climbed all the others. So they gave him his belt. He starts going up, and he gets up maybe 20 feet, 25 feet, and he just froze. And then when he froze, he let go and he went off backwards. Broke his neck, killed him dead. And that never should have happened. A lot of things, we could analyze this for a while and find out the causes, but the point I'm making is, You know, somebody that's not used to it, you get up, you know, they get up there and they're not feeling comfortable, they ought not be up on that pole. You know, then it's time for some training, it's time, but don't put a person in that position. Bad things can happen. Step ladders are self-supporting and good for low heights. Portable ladders lean against the wall, allowing a higher reach. Here we go into the types of ladder, type 3, 2, 1, 1A, and type 1 AA. The type 1 AA, we're getting up there as the workforce becomes a little stronger. Let's use that terminology. But a type 1 AA is good for industrial work, and it's rated for up to 375 pounds. Extra up to 300 pounds, you're into a type 1A, and just the industrial type 1, you're up to 250 pounds. Again, these ratings are not only for just the person ascending it, but any tools that might be used in conjunction with that climb. Inspecting your ladders for cracks in the wood. Do you have any wood ladders, or are they all fiberglass?
I don't think we have any wood anymore.
What about aluminum? Aluminum, I would say if you can phase them out, do it, because some of the places, building maintenance, some of those folks might have aluminum ladders because they're a little lighter to move around and stuff. Aluminum conducts electricity. Building maintenance folks change out lights, they get up into switches, so I'd say if you do have them, phase them out, replace them with fiberglass. You want to check for loose or damaged rungs, broken locks or pulleys, frayed or worn ropes. Remove defective ladders from service. Notice that one, remove defective ladders from service. It doesn't say repair on the job or replace parts. Take the ladder out of service.
Can I take it home then?
Good question. Absolutely good question. If your company has a defective ladder that is not suitable for use on the job, and you take it home and you get killed on that, your family can turn around and sue the company and win.
Oh, thanks for telling us that.
And win. It's the same way with bucket trucks. You know, these are legal, factual, what I'm explaining to you. Bucket trucks. You have a bucket truck that's old and outdated and it's leaking and stuff, so you decide you're going to get rid of it and you buy a new one and you don't trade it in. Even when you trade it in, there are clauses that you have to sign in order to show that the problems with this truck and whatever, because you know, everybody's sue happy. One company traded in a bucket truck and went to another company. They turned around and sold it to a contractor. The contractor went out, was killed, or one of his workers were killed. They came back. They sued the company that sold them the bucket truck, who turned around and got the company that traded it in. I mean, it sounds ludicrous. It sounds crazy, but they do it and they win. So. It's up to your company if you take those ladders home. Just remember there's a liability that can follow that ladder.
Well, really, if a ladder is bad enough that we take it out of service, it should be destroyed, is what...
That, you know, most companies will take them and take a Sawzall or something like that, and they'll actually cut them into chunks and then throw them into the garbage. Now, you take one that's got a crack down a fiberglass side rail, and it's only, you know, 4 inches or something like that. Other than that, it's perfectly fine. Everything works. I've had employees almost cry when you take that Sawzall to it because they say, you know, duct tape and baling wire, you can fix anything. But that's an excellent question. Whoever brought that up's got a gold star. That's and how you deal with it, I'm not here to tell you how you do it. That's a company decision. I'll just tell you some of the details that go along with it. When working in a high traffic area, place warning signs or barriers, lock doors that can swing open, and have someone hold a guard and guard the ladder. I'm not too crazy about that guy's positioning. Why don't you move the ladder closer? Working around electricity. Do not use metal or wooden ladders. Wood's an insulator, isn't it?
Till it gets wet.
Till it gets wet. Right. Question. Water conducts electricity.
No, it travels through.
What?
Not unless it goes to ground.
If you take two probes, positive, negative, you put it into a beaker of water, will it or will it not conduct electricity?
Yes. Well,
Depends on the water.
If it's distilled, it will not.
If it's distilled, it will not. If it has no minerals in it, it's safe. It won't conduct, but kind of a trick question. Use ladders with non-conductive side rails. Keep 10 feet away from electrical sources and check for overhead hazards. Before climbing, always inspect the ladder for damage. Secure the ladder if unstable or unsafe. As a guide, always keep your belt buckle inside the rails of the ladder. Most ladder accidents are the result of careless or improper ladder usage. What's wrong with this picture?
This side isn't locked down.
There you go. It's not locked in the right top position. What about that one?
It should be on his tippy toes.
you should have it.
He's not tied in, right?
So that's like Don Strito.
Oh, there you go.
Now, isn't that neat?
That's a good one.
Couple of little short ladder on a couple of boxes, arms, both hands full, and I don't know what he's trying to do.
With socks.
That one, it's not locked in, he's walking down the wrong, he's not facing the ladder, he's got both hands full.
Bending with his knees.
Yeah, that one is, I don't see a whole lot wrong with that one.
He's on the wrong rail.
He's on the wrong rail.
Trying to lift the bucket truck out.
There you go.
Knife.
There it is. Empire State Building when it was built. You don't see too many harnesses or... I was going to look up how many workers actually died during the building like that. I think it was quite a few if I recall, but I don't remember exactly.
Ooh,
We're careful now, right?
surfing.
A rolling car.
She's on top of paper towels.
Yeah. It's all planned.
Why do people fall? It just says sometimes we're not careful. It'll only take a minute. Well, I heard that one. I'm not going to run and get a ladder. It's down at the end of the hall or it's downstairs, and all I need to do is jump up and get up on top of this, push this pin back in again. So I'm going to stand on a chair or whatever. Falls take less than a minute. Healing takes much longer. What we need is to stay healthy, stay safe. There's another reason. Out, you demons of stupidity. A little help? You know, we laugh at these, but these things actually happen. There was a gentleman that took off here, what, a couple years ago or so from California, Arizona, down in that southwest part some, and they lost track of him. Did they ever find him? Does anybody know?
No,
Last I heard, they never found him.
Shoot down the balloons. Let himself down.
There's a nice fix, isn't it?
1,000 balloons.
Northwestern Energy.
Northwest.
Don't laugh.
That's just a mess there. That's unreal.
Just brickwork.
But they got their cooler up there, if you can see that. It's kind of hidden behind the bush. Tie your scaffolding down to the bucket on the forklift.
Ooh, there you go. Yeah. Hey, he's using clamps. That's.
Yeah.
Tie wrap,
See,
tie wrap.
see, he's got his ladder strapped to some 2x4s.
Yeah, that's pretty ingenious way there. Double up on them at the bottom.
Couldn't figure out how the button worked.
You know, we laugh, but again, these people are doing this crazy stuff.
At least he's sitting, not standing.
Anybody ever been in that position?
Knocking snow off.
Yeah.
As long as there's somebody down below.
Enough snow so that when you land.
Alligator farm.
Wheelers bigger.
You never have to empty out the outhouse.
That's it. That's it.
Howdy, neighbor, shitter's full.
Still lean back. Sure strap in.
Have a splash board.
Somebody fell.
That, you know, I just picture myself out on the end of that and feel my stomach just kind of getting woozy.
Where's his ladder? That's what he was looking for.
Someone pulled it out.
My ladder.
We did have some claims that kind of affected us a little bit, but we've dropped back down to 0.70, which is, for our industry, any industry actually, 0.7 is extremely good.
Yes.
Extremely good. So we are doing a good job. I do want to commend you for that, because that's a very, very good thing. But again, we can't really let up on that either, because all it takes is one little issue, and then we've got something. Well, again, we all know people or whatever. Katie Moody, she was out doing something with her trees, slipped, broke her hip, and was out of work for quite a while. Somebody else, again, came to, I think, had to have some soldier surgery. So it doesn't take much to end up out of work, if you will, rehabbing and having surgery for something that happened. So while 7.0 is phenomenal, and thank you for being safe out there, again, we can't let up on it. We have to make sure we're safe, because it doesn't take much before the next thing you know, you're in the hospital.
Yeah, exactly. No, 0.7 is excellent. I can tell you, I used to see the reports from, I sat on the MECA board, Montana Electrical Cooperative Association, which has members from the telephone and the power company. I used to, and we were self-insured through MECA. So I got to see the printouts of every company as far as what their ratings were. And I tell you what, 0.7 is a wonderful rating. I saw some that were rated 0.2, or excuse me, 2 point. I saw some that were 20 point. But here again, if you have a smaller company, if you've got a company with 15 employees and you have one that gets injured, is off the job, your number goes up. But the other thing that this brings back home is the lower our ratings were with MECA, the lower our deductible was for membership for our workers' comp. So staying safe is just a win-win for everybody. Everybody wins when you stay safe. So, you have that.
Want to do the test?
Yeah, we're going to do a test here,
Oh, it
folks,
is.
on ladder
Sorry,
safety.
not
I
a test.
think you'll probably do pretty well.
If you have some pens,
We're gonna go over these.
you just want to go over, you don't want to have them take it?
Yeah, we're gonna go over them, but I want them to read it, and then they're gonna answer it, and then we're gonna see where we go with this. Everybody have a test? According to the video, now, I say, according to the presentation, not the video, what is a common cause of ladder accidents? Overreaching while working on a ladder, leaving tools on the rungs of ladders, or C, both of the above?
C.
Which one?
C.
C, you got it. Which type of ladders are safe to use in the workplace? Type 1, 2, or 3? Anybody recall?
One.
1. Yes, type A. True or false? It is safe to stand on the top step of a step ladder as long as you don't have to reach too high. All right, we're just cruising right along, right? What should you do if you find a broken ladder? Try to fix it yourself, mark it as broken, and take it out of service. You can use it if it will only be for a few minutes. I pointed this one out. What do you do with it? B, mark it as broken and take it out of service. Don't try to fix it yourself. If your ladder is supported by a point 24 feet above the ground and you are using the 4-to-1 rule, how far from the wall should you pull out the base? Yes. What should you do when ascending the roof with a ladder? The ladder must extend 4 rungs above the roof edge. Pull the ladder base of the ladder further away from the wall, both of the above. A. What should you do when securing the base of a ladder? Tie the rope to the bottom rung of the ladder. Tie the rope to both side rails. Move the ladder closer to the wall for more leverage. This one we didn't cover real. What you want to do is tie the rope to both side rails when you're securing your ladder. And 8, if you feel dizzy on a ladder, do not try to get down right away. True. Some people, and maybe rightfully so, think, well, if I'm just starting to feel dizzy, I'm better to get down before I totally pass out and fall off. But the point is, hang on, and hopefully it's just, unless you have some form of physical ailment that you are aware of, here again, you need to make that choice, depending on how high you are and everything else that's involved. List a high traffic area where there is a risk of someone accidentally bumping into your ladder. That could be building maintenance people, especially doorways, what have you. What should you do when working around electricity? Never use wet wooden ladders. Stay at least 10 feet away from the overhead wires, or both of them. Both of them, you got it. Robert, did you want to keep those for any reason?
The only thing is I do have some OSHA quick cards, kind of checklist of things to remember about ladder safety, so I've got those if you want some before you leave. Again, the only other thing, but again, the reason why we're having this is Paul pointed out, falls is the second most common workers' comp and reason why employees have time away from work. It is something that probably, we do a lot, but, and so just having this training is a great way of reminding us of all the things which we need to do. And again, you should inspect your ladders a lot. If there's a ladder that needs to be taken out of service, let us know. Occasionally, we have replaced the feet on the bottom of some of the ladders, but and again, it just depends on the ladder and all that. But anyways, like I say, as Paul said, and as we've talked about, I'm not going to sit in my office and tell you guys how to do something necessarily. The responsibility is on you guys. You're out there. Every home, every business is a little bit different. Just be safe out there and make good common sense. But again, kind of follow these guidelines, and you will be kept safe.
Anyone have any questions regarding ladders, working aloft? You don't have any scaffolding, right? So I'm not gonna, there's another one on height safety, but if we don't have scaffolding and you're not working off scaffolding, if you grasp and use the information shared with you today with ladders, you're going to stay safe. It's also something you can incorporate into other areas, whether it's ladders or not. If you should get to scaffolding, if you should get in a bucket truck. Here again, bucket truck's different. We're going to cover that, but you know, stay safe. It's, yes.
Yeah, what about using a step ladder up against a pole? Aren't you supposed to have a safety belt on?
A step ladder against a pole. Anytime you go up more than 6 feet, you should be strapped, is what the regulations say.
What about the pole?
Using a step ladder on the pole,
You know, a ladder strap that attaches to the bottom that holds both rungs and holds it against the pole?
to strap the ladder,
Yeah,
a step ladder is meant to be used this way,
An
only.
extension ladder.
Okay, an extension ladder. If you put an extension ladder up against a pole, does it have, first question I have is, does it have a V bracket?
Most extension ladders don't.
They don't.
But a pole ladder has either a chain or a V strap at the top.
Or hooks on the top.
Or hooks for mid-span, yeah, but,
If you're gonna use a ladder like that on a pole, it needs to have a V, a pole.
yeah, you should have a pole. And even if not, yeah, the point you're bringing is then you would strap that ladder from both rungs.
To the pole.
Yeah, you come off the one rung, you go down to the pole, you go around the pole, you come back and you lock into the other side rail. And they make straps specially for that and you can tighten it up and then you take the rope and you throw it over the two runs to the pole and you can cinch it up tight and it's tight. But, yeah.
So are the employees here trained on how to use that, or do we even have that?
I don't know. I don't know.
We have extension ladders with the V notch at the top.
Right.
Yeah. See, with your V bracket on solid ground, there's no need to tie off that bottom. That V bracket.
Tell these,
Hey, Blake,
guys
was it a
you
good
have to
idea
be
I tied off where we were
certified
at
on
that day?
strap for a pole.
You had to be certified on the strap. I can,
You get to go to training for it.
That's bad.
but you know,
That was on my belt, yeah. I mean, they were certain, that was. Plus, if you're climbing a pole that's a joint pole that has power on it,
yeah,
you gotta have a dielectric hard hat on too, don't you?
supposed to have a hard hat. Doesn't have to be dielectric.
You're climbing within a certain range of power.
We stay 10 feet away.
Power is only 42 inches away when you're at the height that our cable's at.
I don't recall it having to be dielectric, but I could be wrong with that. Could be wrong. Somebody brought up the point having hooks on the ladder, basically for joint or for suspension. How do you use those hooks?
Well, ours were retractable.
Retractable. So if you're going to go mid-span, you turn your hooks out, and then you run. How high do you run your ladder up?
Well, you go up. Well, it depends. You gotta.
Through the strand.
Hooks are at the top.
Depends on how strong the strand is, though, too. Because you don't know how much you're gonna swing, but you always bring the hooks down to the strand and over the strand, and then pull your ladder out from the base
Yeah.
to your
You
fireman.
should have at least a foot between the strand and that top hook. It's not meant for that hook to hang on there to support you. It's there to catch you if it slides. It's there to catch you. It's not as a support on the strand, the mid-span. So,
Like I said, once the
good
strand
questions.
gets that
The other thing this does is it makes you stop and think about and they do make, we talk about straps, they make a special strap for strapping your ladder in at mid-span. Same company that makes the straps for tying the base of your ladder in at the pole. When in doubt, you know, do the safe thing. If you don't have the proper straps, a piece of rope will work just as well. You can attach the base of a ladder to a pole. You don't need special straps. Take your hand line, if you've got a hand line, tie it around the run, go once around the pole to the other one, you're good to go. So it doesn't have, same way with up above, you don't need a special strap, but they do make them.
Can I have you videotape that? Before I get certified to be able to climb.
Who's teaching us?
Questions? Great questions. Great questions. And you're talking about the Bell System practices, BSPs? Yeah. Yeah. One thing I'll say about Bell's system, they had a thorough safety program. Their the Bell Safety Practice, their BSPs were the standard in the industry for some companies still using. The last company I came from, I started off with the Bell system. And whenever I left, my BSPs came with me. They did not stay because they're a wonderful, wonderful asset to have. You can go back, you can look at everything from how to lash to a pole to how to use about any piece of equipment that you'd ever want, especially an aerial. Did a lot of good stuff on aerial. So then I understand you got some aerial work coming up here. You're going to retire some cables, so hopefully we can get some training in for that too. Any other questions or comments? I appreciate your input. I appreciate your interactions. Any questions or comments you might have, please bring them to Robert. There's no such thing as a stupid question. So, thanks for coming. Stay safe, and we'll see you again next month.
I think we'll be back next week.